Oh man, that's so cool.
Welcome to TV3. On this week's episode, we'll be checking out a tiny Disney princess, an extra bony Gundam. I bought a pair of transforming robots, and of course, rounding out the episode with answering some of your questions in the feedback section. As always, if you want to introduce a future episode of TV3, you can always do so by sending your video intro to my email address over at typv3@gmail.com. Alright, and with that, let's get on to this week's episode. News this week starts off with some hot new pre-orders from GSC, and I'm going to hit up the Nendoroid scene and tell you all about Nendoroid Belle. That's right, the Disney Princess Nendoroid Belle from Beauty and the Beast. She's gotten a Nendoroid iteration, and I gotta say, it looks pretty adorable. She also comes with Mrs. Potts, and I forget the little teacup dude. Is his name just Cup? I can't remember. Anyways, this looks super cute. Definitely super cute, and the only reason I put this story in here is to tell you all that I didn't like the Beauty and the Beast with Emma Watson. She's just not my Belle, you know? She's too, how do I put it? British. And Belle's French, so that's that. Oh right, I might as well tell you they're also going to do an Nendoroid Beast, so there's that. Now as for Figmas, there was a couple announcements this week, but the one I want to touch upon is the one from Portal 2, and this is Figma Atlus. This thing's going to be about 8,000 yen, and wow does it look gorgeous, especially for a Figma, because you gotta remember, Figmas are not that big in terms of the action figure world. They're about 5.5 inches tall. This one might be a little bit bigger, but I mean, you gotta look at the details of this figure. I just feel like it's so intricate, and it looks great. The portal gun looks nuts at this scale too. If anything, I just want the portal gun so I could give it to other figures of mine, but otherwise, this looks pretty great. Interestingly, they did, even though they're showing off pictures of his partner, they're not actually having him up for pre-order just yet. 8,000 yen is a tough pill to swallow for the price of this guy, but I think it might be worth it. I'm definitely considering it, and who knows, maybe I'll get one in the future. Alright, on to the Bandai side of the world, and there was an interesting new figure from their Dragon Ball Z SH Figuarts line, and this is Super Saiyan Goku 3. Now, there has been an SS3 Goku already there in the works, or in the wild. However, this one is more important because it looks like a renewal copy. At first, I thought it was just a premium color edition, but if you look at the body, there's things here that definitely scream new to me. For one, this buck has knee pads on the joint, and his hips have been redesigned. Now, why is this important? Well, I think that the original Goku body, that one that a lot of the older SH Figuarts are based on, are just awful. It's probably one of the worst SH Figuarts body, especially in the DBZ toy line. And I was amazed that with all the different renewals of, say, Vegeta and Trunks, we hadn't seen a newer Goku, and they took their sweet time, but here it is, and this body was used on many figures. It was used not only for Goku in all his different forms, it was used on Vegito, it was used on adult Gohan, and I'm sure there's a couple more I'm forgetting, but I gotta say, now that this body's out, I'm pretty confident in saying that we're going to see a lot of new SH Figuart Gokus hitting the market, so if you got one of the older ones, I'd say get rid of it now while the price is still pretty high. Alright, so there wasn't a whole lot of Gundam news this week, but there was one announcement that caught my attention, and that is the P Bandai release of the Master Grade Crossbone Gundam X2 Kai. Now, the X2 Kai is probably my favorite of all the Crossbone Gundam variants, and it looks really good here in Master Grade form. It's going to retail for 4,700 yen, and there's not really too much else to say about that. I mean, if anything, I'm just surprised it took so long. I feel like it was ages and ages ago that we got the X1, the original X2, and the X3, so I can't believe it's taken so long for this to happen, but hey, it's here. For all you Crossbone Gundam fans, I hope you guys enjoy this release. Alright, our last bit of news comes from the Tamashi Features Twitter account, and they put up this image of GP011, and it basically says, "Look forward to the next fixed figuration release." Now, I believe this basically is just saying the next fixed fig will be GP011, but do not take this image into any account because it's not really relevant to the product they're developing. But hey, a new fixed fig of GP011 sounds pretty cool. I mean, I love GP011, definitely one of my more liked mobile suits. I kind of hope that it was going to be in real grade form just because we have the matching GP011s, and I would have loved to have seen a larger real grade. If not that, I would have loved to have seen the GP011 done up in Reborn 100. That would have looked really cool. As it stands, it is Gundam fixed figuration, so that It's going to be a completed figure, probably with some die cast and probably hugely expensive. But I look forward to seeing what this is going to turn out like. Otherwise, it's GPO2, and a new GPO2 is always a good thing, no matter how it's been released. All right, let's talk about all the cool new stuff I got this week, and boy, did I get some cool stuff. First up, a Gundam. I got the 1/100 Gundam Bale? I don't know how to say this. This is the first print edition, so it does come with the cool new action-based one with the revised holes in the base, which is super cool. I haven't really said it anywhere, but this is probably the best base you can get for a master grade. It's a shame that they don't sell it on its own because the revised holes they put in there are incredible. Oh, anyways, the Gundam itself. Let's see. I built it. I wish I could show you it. It's currently in pieces because I'm halfway done painting it, but I will say of all the full mechanics Gundam releases, this one is my least favorite. I have a review of this going up later this week, so if you want my full thoughts on it, you can check that out in the future. Alright, so I did say I bought a pair of transforming robots, and guess what? They're both Masterpiece releases. The first one is Masterpiece Cheetor from Beast Wars, or Beasties if you're from Canada. And voila, here he is. He is a gorgeous looking piece of plastic, if I do say so myself. I really love the way this guy looks. Exactly as I pictured he would. I mean, he looks just like the show model. What I really love when it comes to his details is the whole figure is painted. So the metallic blue, painted. It's nice. The textured layering, that's painted too. But what they've done with the dots is they you can see that they have like a bit mapping pixely effect to them, and I think it's such a cool little detail. That might piss off a lot of people who want, like, you know, the most pristine look out there, but I don't know. It looks exactly like the show, so I'm into that. The cheetah mode it looks great. It looks a lot better than I thought it would, but totally is not as seamless as you would hope it would be. It's fine. It's not really the point of it. Transformation is all right. It's not the coolest thing out there, but I didn't find it so tough or hard or offensive that I would not want to do it again. It's just I love this robot mode. It's Cheetor and he looks cool and yeah. All right, so that was Cheetor, and Cheetor's pretty cool, but let's be honest here. The big toy I got this week, and probably the best Masterpiece Transformer I've gotten in a while, is this bad boy, and that is Masterpiece Megatron, leader of the Decepticons. I really like this toy a lot. I can finally say that there is a G1 Megatron, or G1 influenced Megatron from an official Takara/Hasbro outfit that is worth owning. I think this toy is real good. The robot mode is fantastic. It is definitely more cartoon inspired. I mean, if you wanted something that looks like the toy or a hybrid of the cartoon and toy, this is not it. It's meant to look like the show model, and wow, does it look like the show model. He's got some really nice clicky joints, and what I love about his clicky joints is that they got very small detents in them, very small positions, so you're not left with like those huge chunks of mobility. He's definitely got small moments of range, and I love that. The most surprising thing about this toy for me in hand is that he's all painted. All the promotional shots made me assume that he would just be gray and black plastic, but this guy is painted from head to toe. It's a gray paint with a metallic flake in it, so what you get is a metallic gray. And up close you can really see it, and it looks super premium and it's super nice. Now that I see all the painting effort that's into this and all the crazy amount of accessories it comes with, the $200 price point definitely starts to make a little bit more sense to me. It's still expensive and probably a bit more than I would like, but it hurts less now that I see that there's a lot of engineering and paintwork and accessories included. Now, speaking of engineering, I will say that this guy's transformation is a bit interesting, we'll say. There are parts to it that I really love, especially how they did like his legs. I think that's super cool, but there's other parts somewhere maybe around his torso that I find just not as fun. It's not too bad. If anything, all it means is that I will be transforming him a lot less than I had anticipated. But that's okay because robot mode is where it's at. As for the gun mode, I think it's fine. It's a little oversized, but whatever. It fits in my hands and I can pull the trigger, so it looks really cool. But yeah, I'm just super happy to have a really nice G1 Megatron. It's definitely an early contender for me for Toy of the Year. I mean, and that's probably down to the fact that I just love Megatron, and so maybe I like this toy more than most. But yeah, it's gonna take something real special to knock this out of top spot for Toy of the Year. All right, we've gotten to the feedback portion of the show, and I've picked out 5 comments to answer. First one asks, would I recommend painting Robot Spirits figures, specifically the full action unicorn? Well, basically, I recommend that you do whatever you want with the toys you own. I mean, you bought it, you can do whatever you like. Would I recommend painting them from a personal standpoint? Maybe, maybe not. Generally, I feel like they've hit all the colors that they need to on those figures. Would I panel line them? Maybe. Something I think is really cool, my friend Meads does this. He actually buys the water slides for the 1 to 144th scale kits of the matching Gundam, and then he applies those to the Robot Spirits. I definitely recommend checking that out. I mean, putting water slides on your Robot Spirits figures are super cool, at least in my eyes. Between Figma and SH Figuarts, which one do you like more? I've been collecting Figma and Figuarts for a long time, and I've always leaned on Figma more. Basically, it boils down to the fact that Figma deal with properties that I'm more interested in. They do anime characters and they do anime girls, and I'm way more into that than Figuarts, which do mostly tokusatsu stuff, like Kamen Rider and Sentai. And for as much as I like Kamen Rider, I don't love Kamen Rider, so yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong, in recent years, Figuarts have been putting out more. They've been diversifying their catalog, and they've got, you know, Marvel, DC, Star Wars, and even more anime characters. And I still think that as an actual action figure, they are probably the best out there for a toy you want to play with and pose. But as a collectible, as something that I want to be able to buy and just have like something that's really nice and collector friendly is a Figma. I mean, a Figma is not as posable, but I would argue they almost always, to me at least, tend to look better. They come with a display stand, they come with a nifty accessory bag, and they always are guaranteed to come with some accessories. Now, I will totally admit that in recent years, because of the way pricing has gone, Figmas have become super expensive, whereas SH Figuarts, they have gone up in price too, but not as much as Figma, I find. And when it comes down to that, I suppose Figuarts are probably a better value in today's day and age. But nevertheless, I've always sided with Figma. I just like the way they do their boxes better. I like the way that they include more stuff. And for as cool and as awesome as posing toys are, let's face it, all of us just leave that stuff on a shelf to look at, and then that's it. And for me, a Figma just always looks better, and that's why I prefer them. V3, why don't you review your Macross toys? Pretty simple. It's the same reason why I won't be reviewing Megatron here. They're just so big and complicated, and I would have to devote so much time and effort to do it. It's really just me being lazy. I have no better excuse than that. I mean, I could, don't get me wrong, but it's a lot of work, and man, I have enough trouble as it is just keeping up with my standard Gundam reviews. To go and tackle something larger, I mean, it would probably take me like a month to put together one of those Macross reviews, especially for how finicky they can be with their transformation and how much I would want to talk about. It's just a lot of effort that I really, at the moment, have no interest in putting in. Have you seen Logan, and what did you think? How did you feel about the people who call the Barbatos by female pronouns such as she or her? I did see Logan. I liked it a lot. I thought it was really touching and heartfelt. Ending was a bit predictable, and the villains weren't that great. But for the most part, I enjoyed the movie. I really enjoyed the tone of the movie, and I loved the character interaction between Logan and X-23. I actually wish we had more moments with just Logan and X-23. But otherwise, I thought it was good. If you want my full thoughts, I did a podcast where I talked about it, and you can listen to it there. As for people who call the Barbatos by female pronouns, I am a huge advocate of calling anything with a female pronoun, especially, you know, machinery or whatnot. You know, I call my car her. I call my bicycle she. If I owned a Gundam, I would call it a she. I don't see what the problem is. If I had a boat, that's definitely a woman, right? Like, I don't think anybody calls any sort of vehicular transportation device or just a giant machine as a him. It's always been she. I don't know why that is, to be honest, but I think it's fine. If you want to call it a she, go for it. No issue with me. Last question comes from Evo Changer, and he wants to know my thoughts on the SH Figuarts Shinkocho Seiho Kamen Rider Skull. I think the toy looks hot. I think it looks like an incredible looking figure art. But then again, that skull has always been a very cool Kamen Rider design. I like how he comes with that briefcase. That's really neat. But I don't really have anything else to say on it. I mean, it's a cool looking toy. Will I be buying it? Probably not. I mean, I love Kamen Rider Double. It was my first Kamen Rider, and because of that, it'll always forever remain like super special to me. But as time has gone on, I don't love Kamen Rider, and I don't, or at least I don't love it enough to really be spending money on anything. So yeah, it's not really for me. I definitely think that if you're into Kamen Rider, this is a must. I mean, it's just super cool, but otherwise, for me, it's not. It's something that I can say easily passable. All right, there you have it. Another episode of TV3 over and done with. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Now, remember, if there's anything you want to discuss further on the show, or if you have any other questions for me, feel free to leave them in the comment section below, and I'll get to them next week. Also, this weekend is Easter, and if you are celebrating Easter, I wish you all a wonderful holiday. If not, I still hope you have a fun weekend nonetheless. All right, I'll see you guys next week.